Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate. And I wanna. This work is a result of a great job done by Astrid Kirk. Is a postdoc working at the University of Guelph with me, and she's been fantastic. So, and she's working on health traits, which is our new trait coming up in the pipeline. So introduction has been done already by the paper yesterday by Vincent, today by Tracy, and so obviously countries are working in what Scandinavian countries have been working for 30 years pretty much, so we are catching up, I guess, and seeing the importance of health traits in the selection. In Canada, we started knowing that this priority was going to be quite important. In 2007, a national health recording system, and this is done by producer on a voluntary basis, and we just focus on 8 diseases, which are listed there. And there is also some veterinary collection data coming from the Quebec province. The way this data collection works, the producer they are provided with a disease definition. They have a nice template and for identification and the recording. And then this is recorded by the producer at time and given to the milk tester at time of the milk testing. And then it goes to DHI and then can come to CDN. Additionally, we have data from veterinarian Quebec through this DSR program, and then this goes all the way to the national database, the Canadian Dairy Network. In 2010, about 30% of all recorded health events were coming from home farm health management, like dairy comp or other software like that, and 30% from record books and 40% from this Quebec program. The feasibility of using producer-recorded data in health traits has been already shown in the previous literature in the US by Nate, in Australia, and in UK. And however, in neither of these countries, the genetic evaluation of traits have been implemented so far, and they're, I guess, coming so far soon in the UK. So the objective of this talk is just and the overall objective is to develop genetic evaluation for resistance to mastitis and also to other diseases, and probably the next one will be metabolic diseases in the Canadian Ulster. And then I will just talk a little bit about database and the disease frequencies and the first result of the mastitis resistance evaluation. So this is from April 2007 to December 2011. We have the health category and health events for metritis. We also split in different type of metritis, and the same for lameness. And then we have the percentage of health events in this first column and the percentage of herds. And it's quite clear seeing that mastitis is the most recorded trait. It's easier for the farmer, I guess, to diagnose this trait. And then followed by displaced abomasum and by retained placenta. And the other thing which is important is that the farmers are supposed to record all 8 diseases, but only 17% actually of the herds have records for all 8 health categories. So which means that they record mastitis easier than other traits, and so there is an underreporting of this. So of course, editing of this data is the most important things in order to provide the data that are not biased by this underreporting, and so selecting the herds and excluding those herds that do a poor job. In Canada, starting in 2007, around 3,000 herds were collecting this data, and now we're settling to a 4,000 number of herds, which is pretty much 40% of all milk recorded herds. And we are hoping, as soon as we provide genetic tools to put more visibility to this group of traits, and of course more importance, and that will also come up with some DHI management report will also give some more visibility. So hopefully this percentage will increase. I was saying the data validation is very important to identify those herds with reliable recording in order for doing for our genetic analysis. And at the end of the story, we have to exclude 40 or to 60% of all herds depending on the disease from the analysis. just as in frequencies, this is we have two mastitis is around 14%, sorry, 12%, and then go up to 22% in fair parity. So they go up across parity, which is we knew that was the case. Another trait with higher frequencies, metritis, and then cystic ovaries, and also lameness, with around 10% on average between the free lactation. Milk fever, we very know, of course, in first lactation, then coming up in second and third lactation. We define the trait as a binary trait, 0-1, within 300 days after calving, and we look at the records from first, second, and third parity, and the total, we had 200,000 records from around 150,000 cows from 2,200 herds. So of those 4,000 herds, there was how much we were excluding in this case of mastitis. The overall mastitis frequency was around 70%, and this again, the frequency across parities from 13% to 22%. We did two models. There was some groundwork done by Larry Schaeffer and his PhD student Timothy Neuschwander, and he compared threshold models with linear model, and pretty much at the end there was a very little difference in terms of heritability in terms of EBVs. So for us, we decided to stay on the linear models, and in this case we use linear cell model, but we're planning to use also linear animal models. And we did just a single univariate mastitis repeatability model with first to second and third lactation, and also then we use predictors because mastitis is a low heritable trait, so we need to increase the reliability. And yesterday Vincent showed that quite clearly, and I'm going to show again that. And the traits we use, Astrid follow the good lead from the Dutch colleagues, Yvette work in the Netherlands, using somatic score patterns as a potential indicators of mastitis. And at the end, she landed on mean somatic score lactation, which is classic within the first 150 days. And then this trait, which is, she found a very promising trait, the standard deviation somatic score, and we will see that. And then at least one somatic count test day record over 500,000, and then two classic conformation traits, other depth and 4 other attachment, and then body condition score. So some genetic correlation, just focus on the first row. You can see mastitis correlated around 0.8 with somatic score, the average somatic score is 150. Higher correlation for the variance of standard deviation somatic score, 82. This is the peak at around 0.92, and then the two conformation traits between 0.3 and 0.4, and body condition score again, like found in other work around 0.3. So we computed the BVs of those for the sire, and we in Canada will always like to look at on the positive side. So we look at the RBV for mastitis resistance and not for mastitis incidence. So a higher EBV is more desirable, and these are plotted against the percentage of the healthy daughters, and it's show very well the range of this is our EBVs that we use for functional traits as an average of 100 and a standard deviation of 5, and you can see the large range of between the best bulls with between 90 to 100% of healthy daughters versus the worst bulls going on with an RBV of 80 to 90, having half of their daughters in sick. So this is a graph that when you show to producer, they see the fact that yes, it's low heritable traits, but the variance and the range that we can capitalize between the worst and the best bulls is very large. And then again, in terms of reliability, when we did the univariate model, and this is depending on group of number of daughters per sire, so the first just you have 30 to 50 daughters, then 50 to 100, 100 to 300, then larger daughter groups. And there is a good gain going from a univariate model to a multivariate model using the predictors that are correlated with mastitis. We also correlated our EBVs of mastitis resistance with the traits that we run, we evaluate in Canada. Is slightly correlated, close to zero, with LPI, negative correlated with milk and protein, which is expected, and around minus 0.6 with somatic score. And was good to see the mastitis resistance, again, well correlated with our air life and also the direct air life and some main conformation traits, and the negative with angularity, which of course is almost the opposite of body condition score, so it wasn't surprising that either. And then well correlated with our fertility traits, so we are selected for a more healthy traits, we're also selected for a more fertile animals. So in conclusion, 40% of the whole milk recorded herds participate in health recording system. We are hoping to increase this in the future, in the short term. And mastitis, the most recognized trait by the producers, also the most recorded, and it's the one that we focus initially to run a routine genetic evaluation. The patterns of somatic score had also lower irritability, but a stronger genetic correlation with mastitis than the average somatic score trait. And using this multiple trait really increased the reliability by 15 to 25 points. And the good results was seen that even if it's a low irritable trait, the cells with higher BB for mastitis resistance had consistently higher percentage of healthy daughters than cells with lower relative breeding value. And we just received now a confirmation that our final project will be approved, so we will be able to move this from a research mode to a service mode, and hopefully we will be able to have a genetic evaluation official in Canada early next year. Thank you so much.